Oops, somehow or another I muted myself. One of the things we have been talking about on our Zooms is we've been talking about um, leadership. We talked about it on this morning. I wanted to touch on it a little bit on this evening because as you begin to build your businesses, you will not be able to build successfully without leadership. You will not be able to build at the level that you desire to get to without leadership. And so that is what is extremely important. And so what I wanted to do is kind of go over in more detail some of what we discussed for those of you that were not on the call this morning, some of the things that we discussed about some principles of leadership. And then I just wanted to ask of you any leadership challenges that you are having as it pertains to building your team. Any leadership challenges that you're having. Matter of fact, why don't you do me a big favor? Why don't you go ahead and put in the chat line right now? Put in the chat line right now any leadership challenges you are having as you build your team. Why don't y'all do that for me? Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Put in the chat line as we get ready to talk about it. Put in the chat line what it is, some of the challenges you have as you lead and as you build your team. All right. So let's get right to it. One of the things that we understand is leadership. Leadership is very, very important in building any organization. And as I shared on this morning during our time, one of the things that leadership requires is that it requires integrity. The easiest way to lose your influence, which is what leadership is, the easiest way to lose your influence and the easiest way to lose your credibility is if you're leading absent of integrity. Leading absent of integrity. And what I want to do is break down some ways that you can lead absent of integrity with Wakana. How can I lead in the absence of integrity with Wakana? So what are some of the things that I should be looking for as it pertains to making certain I don't do? Well, one of the things I want you to do is not to overpromise. Number one, you can't promise what this product is going to do for anyone. What you can do is let them know what it has done for other people and what it has done for yourself. But we cannot make any claims that this product is going to cure anybody. That's very important, you guys, because if you make those kind of statements, you make those kind of claims, and not understanding that this product affects every person differently, then you can lose credibility. You can also create liability. You can also create liability. I need y'all to understand this. You can also create liability. The second thing that is essential in this process, the second thing that is essential that you should not ever do, you should not ever do this, and that is tell people how much money they are going to make. So you're just trying to get this sale. So I'm going to over embellish on this product. I'm going to tell them this is going to cure you from cancer. This is going to cure you from this. That's not something that we as a corporation, that's not what we do. It's not part of our policy. And so we want to make certain that you as a leader are not leading in that way for the sake of getting anything, right? The second thing is you don't want to make promises as to how much money somebody is going to make. A lot of times in our zeal and in our zest of helping people to or getting people to join in, we make promises. We tell them they're going to become millionaires in XYZ amount of time. We tell them they're going to make a whole bunch of money. We tell them that they could go and quit their job today and do this full time, and they'll start making all this. We do not want to make promises that we are not in control of assuring that they come to pass. That means, what does that mean to you? That means you must understand that every person is different. How much money each individual make is based on that individual. It's based, so how do you communicate this? You can communicate it like this. Wakanda is in a multi-billion-dollar industry. The CBD is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We have products that in 6 different categories that are multi-billion-dollar categories. And when you come onto Wakanda, it puts you in a unique position to be able to provide products and operate in a billion-dollar industry. Now, how much money you're going to make is totally up to you. It is based on how hard you work. It's based on how much product you sell. It's based on how big you build your team. And all of these particular factors is what it is based on. What you can promise as it pertains to compensation is what our compensation plan is. Does that make sense? What you can promise as it pertains to compensation is what our compensation plan is. This is very, very, very important. Now, so number one, you got to lead with integrity. Number two, you're going to have to lead not only with integrity, but you're going to have to lead through visibility. What does that mean? What does that mean to lead through visibility in the context of Wakanda? Well, here it is. You cannot be an absentee sponsor. You cannot be an absentee leader. You cannot just take people's money, sign them up, and then you do not make yourself available. They don't see you participating in corporate events. They don't see you participating in conferences. They don't see you participating in training. There is no visibility. You have gone AWOL. We cannot do that if we're going to build a successful organization. If we're going to build a successful organization, we cannot build a successful organization and we are absent and we are not accessible to those that we are leading. Are you guys understanding this? It's very important. It cripples your business when you use your influence and you bring people on, and those people that you bring on, that you've represented, that this company is a good company for them to participate in, and they do not see you. As leaders, it is imperative that all of us make ourselves visible. We must make ourselves visible. I'm going to stop right there real quick, and I'm going to ask a few questions. I'm going to ask, does anyone have any questions or comments about what I'm sharing with you as it pertains to leading with integrity or as it pertains to leading through visibility? Anyone have challenges? Does this make sense? Y'all give me some feedback so it won't be like I'm just talking to this Zoom screen. Y'all give me some feedback. I'm gonna give you a second to put it in the chat. Any questions or any comments on what we're talking about right now as it pertains to leading with integrity and leading through visibility? Okay. Any questions? So, all right, I'll move on. Just joined was my morning call. Thank you. All right, Dr. Tez. Should teams set up a set time to meet with your team so they don't feel abandoned? Great question, Anita. Great question. I absolutely would recommend that. I absolutely recommend that there should be a time, whether it's weekly, every other week, whatever time you feel is necessary based on where your team is. I would venture to say weekly, that you should be coming together with your teams. You should be coming together with your team. You should be assessing where everyone is. You should be basically sharing the information, the hot points of the information that's going on with Wakana. You should not assume that everybody on your team is getting the information that corporate is sending out. Why shouldn't you assume that? They may not be jumping on the calls. They may not be checking their emails, whatever it is. If you have a weekly checkup with your team to say, hey, you guys, this week we're doing a special. We're doing the buy three, get one free. Make certain you take advantage of that. How many of you are taking advantage of that this week? All of those type of things is very, very important, and is going to help you to build that relationship, continue to maintain that influence as it is necessary as you continue to begin to build your particular teams. And so the next one is lead through systems. Now we talk about our systems, and we talk about it a lot. But what we're finding is that there's still individuals that are not plugging into the system, and or they are not following the system. And so as a result of that, they're not being as successful as they could be as it pertains to the system. So what do you mean? Here's some of the things that we could look at. I'll give you just this example. Myself and there's a gentleman that came to my home. He's a salesman. He does a great job in sales. Sold me my security system, all of that stuff. I shared with him about Wakana. And then what I did was I sent him some videos. And then after he watched the videos, I set up a three-way call with Phyllis. And then we got on a three-way call. And then she gave him some more instructions. And so what am I doing? I am just following the system. That's it. I am following the system because we understand that the system works when we work the system. So when you lead through the system, let me tell you what happens for you. It takes the pressure of leadership off of you. That means you are sharing the leadership of helping that particular person that you've brought to the table grow. Why? Because now that you are enrolling them into the system, now that you are leading them through the system, what you are essentially doing is leveraging the resources and the weight of the entire company to your benefit for the sake of helping your particular individual. Make certain that as a leader, you don't allow your people to go renegade. It's one thing for them to establish their own thing after they've proven themselves through the system. But it's another thing to allow them to go renegade and start doing what they want to do on their own when they first get in. And here's what happened. They don't get the results. They're going to blame you. They're going to blame the company. They're going to blame the product. They're going to blame all of these other things. And as a result, eventually they're not going to last long. So we want to keep everybody locked in and engaged in the system. Okay. You want to lead through the system. Now, I know I shared this morning, but I didn't share it going through this like this because I didn't have the time. And so I wanted to expound on it and open up us for any questions because this is very important as it pertains to the success of your business. You want to lead through the system. All right. So you want to lead with integrity. We don't make promises we can't keep. We don't make representations that is not in alignment with compliance. We don't tell people how much money they're going to make because they sign up. We don't do any of those type of things. And then number two, we lead through visibility. And number three, we lead through systems. And then we lead by training and development. And that goes back to that question that Anita asked. Is it a good idea to meet with your team on a frequent basis? Not only so that they will not feel abandoned, Anita, but you want to meet with them so that there's a constant sense of training and developing and making certain that every person that's on your team is growing and growing professionally, growing personally. For example, some of you got people to get involved with the Bitters Challenge. And as the people are starting to feel good about themselves and they're growing, they start feeling good about themselves personally. Now they move from just knowing about the company to becoming a part of the company and taking ownership of the company because of what the company and how the company has impacted their lives. And so you want to continue to train the people. You want to continue to develop the people. You want to continue to get them to plug in. That Sales Academy training. Why are we talking about this again? Okay, you guys know that Phyllis is always talking about the Sales Academy's training, Sales Academy training, Sales Academy training. We had an event and we asked the question. The question was asked, how much time should go by from a time when a person enrolls and the time they go through the Sales Academy's training? People got that answer wrong. And that's not good because that first 48 hours is crucial. That first 48 hours is crucial. And so when you are doing training and development, the first line of training they're going to get is the Sales Academy training within the first 48 hours of the business. That's their first line of training. And you should not wait on somebody else to do it for you. You should not wait for Tuesday to come or for Saturday to come. Listen, you, within 48 hours, if they enroll on Wednesday, by Friday, you should be actively engaged with them, going through the Sales Academy training, plugging them into the system so that they can get off to a fresh start. Why? Because from the time they enroll to the first 48 hours is going to give them the necessary momentum that's needed in order to maximize the success that they have as a small business owner with Wakana. Okay? All of these is very important. Again, you have any questions, you have any comments, you want to make any statements about what I'm saying. If you have another point, I want to hear from you. Put it in the chat line. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is lead through solutions. Lead through solutions. Hey, you guys, we're a multi-million-dollar company that's growing extremely fast, right? There are a lot of things about our company by which we don't have control. And there are a lot of things about our company by which we do have control. So in essence, what I'm saying is you may have moments where there's a problem. Maybe there's a problem with the order. Maybe the order didn't get there because it's stuck at the whatever the case may be. Maybe they tried to get on and the line in the morning and the line was full. Maybe they went online to order and we were out of stock. Maybe whatever these different things that's going to happen as a result of us doing business. The reality is you have to be the solutionist. You have to be the individual that looks at the problem and deal with the problem for the first 2 minutes and spend the next 20 minutes, 2 hours, however long is necessary to solve it and become the solutionist. Let's not get stuck. Sometimes we get stuck on the minutia or on the minute problem. And we spend all of our energy about the fact there was a problem, and we spend less time focusing our energy on how we can solve it, that it begins to create a certain moral decay of the individual that has brought the problem to you. You want to make certain that you are a solutionist. You want to make certain that when they come to you with a problem, that you can either A, provide the solution, or B, identify who, what, when, where, or how that problem can be resolved to the benefit, not only of Wakana, but to the benefit of that client or that business builder or that customer, and to the benefit of your personal organization. All right. So you got to understand that as you're building a business, you will have to become a solutionist. Now, these things are essential. I'm going to move a little bit faster um, as we get to come to a close. So we want to lead with integrity. We want to lead through visibility. We want to lead through systems. We want to lead by training and development. And we want to lead through solutions, you guys. We want to become solutionists. And the last one is we want to lead by sacrifice. When you are dealing with people and when you ask people to do something, and they do it based on the fact of virtually because you asked, they saw an opportunity, you asked, and they seized it. It's going to require some sacrifice on your part. We cannot bring people in and just leave them as sheep for the slaughter. We have to bring them in. We have to make the sacrifice to spend time with them, make the sacrifice to talk to them, make the sacrifice to get on three-way calls with them. It's going to require a sacrifice for those of you that's saying, hey, I want to build. If you think of a Mr. Diamond Moody, if you think of the sacrifice that Mr. Diamond Moody makes to be on three-way calls, to be doing presentations and trainings and all of those type of things for his team, to do all of these things, when you think about what Phyllis does, not only, so you got to understand, she's building a business, she's two-star diamond, but at the same time, she's doing what she has to do as a co-founder. She's doing what she has to do as a chief sales officer. These things are sacrifices. So we could be up as she and I was till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, sending back and forth emails, getting people on the phone just to make certain that they are comfortable, just to make certain that they feel like they are empowered with the information. Let me just say this to you guys. What's easy for you, what makes sense for you, what is common sense for you may be the most difficult, challenging, fearful task and or assignment for one of your team members. So as a leader, you have to meet people where they are. And you have to have the patience to meet people where they are. Now, right now I'm in the middle of some major stuff that's happening, right? But at the same time, I have a responsibility to Wakana. I have a responsibility based on who I represent. So when Phyllis called, I have to answer. I had someone calling me early, and I was in the middle of a session, but they needed to speak with me. So I have a responsibility to make myself available, schedule the time to talk to them, allow them to ask me questions without being bothered by the fact they're asking me questions, and give them the answers that they need. When you do that and you make those sacrifices for those that you are in business with and that you're building with, two things happen. Number one, it reinforces loyalty and appreciation, because they see the sacrifice being made. And so most times it reinforces loyalty and appreciation. And the second thing is it gives them a sense of empowerment, knowing that they have not only what they need, but if there ever a moment where they need something, they are encouraged to know that they are encouraged to know that they'll be able to come to you to get it. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? And so this is very, very important. I know we are getting a lot of new people that are coming in, and I pray that individuals that is on this call tonight are some of those individuals that are new, that's coming in, because we want to make certain that you are positioned properly for success. It's 7 o'clock. That's all the time that I got. I got to give it back to Kathy. Thank you, guys. I look forward to seeing you at the top. God bless. Prosper.